locate the drip tape. These are the 3 big beef. Big beef is a 1 pound tomato. Nice sized slicer tomato. 1 slice fills the whole hamburger bun. One leaf. Yeah, these are big enough. I think I'm going to take this other one off right there too. Put some of that soil back in there. So I'm planting 1.5 inches deeper than it was in the pot. New soil up the stem here to give the stem just a little more support. Put the roots just a little deeper in the soil. Another big beef. Where's my shovel? Oh. I can't find the drip tape. Oh, it's just a little bit deeper right there. I don't need this many tomatoes. You think I could eat this many tomatoes? I can sure try. There's 22 plants here. 22 plants, yep. That's a lot of tomatoes. The cages we use on these are 5 foot tall, 6 inch opening, concrete mesh, with a 20 inch diameter. I mentioned that here a few minutes ago. And these plants will fill those cages and flow out the top, and I'll have to prune and prune and prune. One of the stores in town did an experiment with a tomato. You know, maybe it wasn't world record breaking, but they grew a 17 foot tall tomato that produced over 200 pounds of tomatoes. That would be just maybe a fun thing to do, but I'm not sure we have time this year. We're only shut down because of the coronavirus. Even though the store is open, things are still really slow. Things were slow 3 weeks before the governor closed the store. And when they closed the store, I said, I guess that makes sense anyway. Nobody's coming into the store. So we've been home prepping the garden, staying plenty busy. There's the drip tape right there. These 5 foot cages we use, they hold up what essentially is a wind sail in the summertime. So if the wind blows, the cages can blow over. And I know you're supposed to put rebar stakes alongside the cages, but we haven't done that. And so over the years, when it gets to that time of year where the plants are big enough, they start blowing over the whole cage. Then we start tying strings to the trellis next to us, and that helps hold it one direction. And this year we will have a trellis next to us that I can put a wire across the top over the raspberries and actually hold it that direction. But we have trellis posts enough extra that I could put something at the end of the row and also wire them up, but just maybe staking every other cage would also be helpful. Okay, big beef. Done with big beef. Next variety is Celebrity. Celebrity is also an heirloom. Very, very famous tomato. The guy that owned one of the big nurseries in town sold it, but his favorite tomato was Celebrity. So he and I had a booth together at the farmer's market. He sold gardening supplies, and he likes to have a nursery license. He's got some kind of a tree certification that he knows everything about trees. Super sharp, very, very nice guy. Loves celebrity tomatoes. Okay, let's pull this out. And drop our little 4-inch peat block down in there with all the little fine roots and cover it back up again. In this overcast weather, it won't even know it got transplanted. May even rain again tomorrow. We got very little rain today. Some light sprinkling. Okay, that's perfect. Get that rock out of there. I haven't planted on the 12th of May for a long time because we would normally wait till Memorial Day. And part of that is because I'm always so busy in my work. But the other part is when we first moved to town and planted a garden in early May, it all froze and we were worried, oh, go cover it every night, because early May was 30 degrees and then it was 50 degrees at night. Then it was 30 degrees, then it was 50 degrees at night. And then we thought, oh, it's all getting warm and nice, and around the 20th of May there was a rainstorm, and just after the rainstorm the temperatures dropped to freezing again and everything froze. And some friends of ours came over and they said, yeah, we planted ours 3 weeks ago. We didn't think it was going to freeze, and their whole garden froze, and they wondered if I had some extra tomato plants. And that's the 25th of May that happened. And I've seen it happen 4 times in the valley. And so we would normally wait, but since I have a little extra time this year, and I can look forward in the weather.com forecast to see that our area isn't going to be, below 40 degrees now for 15 days, might as well plant. Because that's Memorial Day. We get past the 25th. All right, next 2 varieties are Marglobe. I'm going to move this down just a little bit. The drip tape. We have 2 Marglobe. I didn't know Marglobe existed till my friend, we've known for 30 years, 25 to 30 years here in town. He says he liked Marglobe. I don't know why, don't remember what he said, but since then we try to remember to plant Marglobe. And I don't remember how well it did, except that I remember there were a lot of tomatoes. I just don't remember the size or the flavor and those kind of things. I remember, wow, that's a lot of tomatoes on that plant. This is an heirloom variety, Marglobe. Go. 2 Marglobes. Ooh, careful of that drip tape. We live in Idaho, and I have never seen a potato beetle or a tomato worm. Those big green worms you see on tomato plants. Where I came from in central Washington, there were big worms on every tomato. I had to really be vigilant in keeping those things down. Another thing I've never seen is a potato beetle. And there were potato beetles all over every plant down the row. What a pain that was. And I've never seen a potato beetle here in Idaho. We live in the capital city, and I have never seen out where we live here anyway. And it might be different in different parts of the city, because when we first moved to town, we lived down closer to downtown, and there were 4 and 5 and 6 inch slugs. Ugh, wow, they were huge, crawling across the sidewalk. And out here, the only time I've seen I do see a slug sometimes. Like, I think I saw a baby slug in the greenhouse, but it gets pretty wet in there, and I've only seen one this year, maybe two. But we had a lot of slugs one year when I decided to bring loads and loads of sawdust home and till it in. And that year there were slugs everywhere in our yard. It took a couple of years for that sawdust to decompose, and then we didn't have a slug problem. Okay, next variety, our Champion 2 tomato. And these were also transplanted from a 1-inch nursery stock 4-pack on 26 March to a 6-inch pot instead of a 4, so we have a 2-foot tall tomato. With a big beefy stalk. There's a lot of rocks up here in this end. Okay, that ought to do. I may have nicked the drip tape all the way down here to the beginning. Whoops. I may have to put a coupler in this drip tape right here. There, all the way down into the hole. That looks really nice. I'm not going to fill that in with dirt quite yet until I see if that drip tape leaks right there. Okay, one more Champion 2. Champion 2. Yeah, I can't read it, but I believe it's a 12-ounce tomato. 10 to 12-ounce tomato, and probably 70 days to ripen, 75 days to ripen. Be a little more careful not to nick the drip tape this time. After all this work, I nicked the drip tape 10 feet from the beginning. We don't want to have to pull it all out again. They do make couplers. That ought to do. Plop it in the hole. Very nice. This one we can fill in. Like that. Very nice. We got them all planted. Shall we turn it on and see if we actually nicked it? There's the drip tape. It looks like I dented it, but maybe it didn't put a hole in it. We'll see here shortly. I just turned the water on. Don't see a leak yet. I don't know. Looks like I can see water there. Ah, yes. After that builds up pressure, it will start to squirt, looks like. So we'll get it fixed. I'll put a coupler on it. Have to cut it and actually put it couples from both ends, because I don't think we want that spraying a pool of water. If the rest of the row gets enough water and that's spraying, then this whole area would become a pond or soak out past where it's supposed to, and the weeds will be worse than they should be. I'm surprised it's not spraying. Yeah, I can squeeze it and get it to spray. We have leaks that bad all over in the tape just because it's a year old already. So maybe it's not worth changing. I think I'll just monitor that, see what happens. This can run overnight and get everything soaked up, and we'll see what it looks like in the morning. A 60-foot row of tomato plants, 22 plants in all, mostly 2 varieties per planting. And we'll test to see how soon some ripen, what shape they are, what color they are, what they taste like, how many they produce per plant, how many of them rot. Some of them are pretty susceptible to maybe a blossom end rot or something that others just don't even have any problems at all. One variety that I love to plant is Park's Whopper. I'm sure it's a hybrid, but boy, they're pretty tomatoes, and I couldn't find any this year. So we don't have any Park's Whopper. I could call my neighbor 3 doors down. There's a good friend that has been greenhousing for years and years, and she likes Park's Whopper too, and she may have an extra. We'll see. And I can steal a space in the paste tomato row for Park's Whopper if I find one. Okay, till tomorrow, we'll come back and stake these tomatoes.